Good morning. Doing my morning live streams. Suburban Prepper here. 36 hours. I lasted on my 48-hour diet, fasting for 36 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. And 34 of 36 was miserable. I just couldn't do it anymore. I had to eat something. That's okay. So I ate dinner last night. I ate some breakfast this morning. Maybe I'll do a 36-hour fast every couple of days, a couple times a month. We'll see. But I couldn't last 2 days. And there's no way in hell someone can last a whole week like me. My blood pressure was running really good. It was like a 116 over something, and I hadn't taken any medication for it. I'm usually post at 7 a.m., but this morning is special. I'm not going to work today. I'm going to see the dentist in Chicago, the good old VA. And my appointment's not till 10:30, and I'm leaving at 8 because I'm a slow-ass driver. And I hate driving in Chicago traffic. So that's that. I got a little time to talk. Do a live stream. I got my video camera in to do the live streams in my basement in my prepper studio. And I did get it to work. I thought it was too fandangled to get it to work because the main camera from the laptop would just go on. I didn't realize it was such a simple thing of going on the app and switching which camera you want to use. And now I know. And knowing is half of the story. And it's, I think it's time I hit the AC a little bit today in my truck. So you're going to see me driving into Chicago today. So you might hear some pejorative words, as it were, because I hate driving into Chicago with all my might. I hate it. It's not a fun driving experience. Very aggressive drivers. And first time of the year, I'm putting on my air conditioner today in my truck. I don't like talking with the window down. It's like screaming. Oh. So today, I've got a dental appointment. And I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest. But I'm just going to go. I don't want to miss appointments. Later on today, I'm supposed to get more slips for the sweet peppers. And I'm going to grow some more slips in my different beds for sweet peppers. I decided I'm going to maximize space, but not like I tried last year. Because in my garden last year, I tried to grow like 4 tomatoes in the raised garden bed, and the most I need to grow are 2, the maximum, in those 110-gallon beds. And I've lowered the surface of the soil, so I'm not wasting soil. And when I recompost it for next year, all that organic remnants of the tomato plant will be in there, and I just chop it up and let it sit over winter, and it breaks down naturally. I don't take it out of that bin and put it into the compost bin. Let it work itself out. But this morning, after doing a 36 fast, I have muscle soreness all over. I mean, upper body, lower body. And I know why I have it. It's just a metabolic effect. But that's one side effect that I had from, and we'll see what I weigh tomorrow when I'm at work on the scale. I felt skinnier, if that means anything. Another thing I learned about doing YouTube videos is I have to shave because I get this gray hair all over my face, and it just reflects light, and it's not very, you know, if it was darker, it would be cool, but it's not. I usually shave all this off too. Uh, go with the Lex Luthor look. So tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, no, Saturday at 7 o'clock, I will be doing my live stream using my new Sony Z1, no, ZV1F camera. It's used to make videos. You can blog with it, and you can also set it up to do a restream. And it's actually it's just like using your phone. Once you get the settings set up correctly for the imaging stuff, it's easier than using the phone actually. You can open it up on download a file, delete the file if you want on the camera so it doesn't hog up all the space. And I'm just doing what I do. This is going to be somewhat of a controversial subject, or maybe not. But I've noticed we're getting a lot of Karens in prepping. Okay, now let me premise this by saying your name is Karen, but you're not a Karen. Please accept my forgivenesses. I'm not trying to insult you by your name. And also, if your name's Kevin, I'm not trying to insult you by saying there's too many Karens and Kevins in prepping. Yesterday, for a quick minute, I was looking on my phone, and a pretty popular prepper channel on Facebook or group or whatever you want to call it, a Karen asked, I'm thinking about leaving the country. Where should I go? The funny thing is, 4 or 5 months ago, she was living it up in the country. She joined a prepper group, one to mock preppers, two to sow dissent. She was a Trump hater. And I'm not saying every prepper's got to like Trump, okay? I went to her, I scrolled down her, when you like scroll on somebody's page, if they don't have enough common sense to like not open it to people, you can see what they post. And sure enough, it's all this I hate Trump stuff. I don't understand how, which would imply, well, I don't know for sure, but she was a libblard. I can tell you that. But I don't get it how someone can be a prepper, okay? I'm not saying you have to love any political party. That's not the issue. I don't see how you could be a prepper and not one in the United States, okay? I mean, you could do other things in other countries. I'm talking where I live, okay? at the national level. How you could be a prepper and not one, love your amendments to the Constitution, and two, love the Second Amendment to our Constitution, because all of the amendments are vital and are being infringed upon us all the time anyway. But if you support certain political parties and Marxist groups, you don't support free speech. You support the government suppressing your right to bear arms. It's like I'm driving into Illinois here in a few minutes, okay? So I can do what I have to do. Illinois, you're not allowed to have suppressors, literal. You know, you don't call them silencers because they're not silent. They suppress sound. In Europe, suppressors are common courtesy. It's like earplugs for everybody else when you shoot. Although in Europe, they have horrible gun laws, generally speaking. But yet they have such liberal suppressor laws because it's only common sense. It's not going to block the sound. It's not going to make it silent. And when I thought about this, Karen, okay, I think about this one nurse that used to work for me on my team at my job, and she was a cop before she became a nurse. And I thought, okay, this is a pretty good girl, you know. Became a cop. She was a medic in the Army. I liked her. I interviewed her for their job too. Well, me amongst other people. It's not like I had the final say anyway. I had no say. I'm just a puppet head for interviews. They know who they're going to hire. But anyway, since she was on my team, I had a direct say in it. So be it. Turns out, I brought up the issue of suppressors one time, and of course she spilled the line, well, it's for the better good of the people. The better good of the people. It's for the good of the people. When someone says something is for the good of the people, that sounds very Marxist to me. Okay. Another thing that sounds very Marxist to me is when someone says, give back to someone. Give back to someone. When no one's given anything. So you're implying, ladies and gentlemen, that someone gave something to you, that you have to give something back. You do that all the time anyway. But when it used in social construct, it means taking away your civil liberties. The right to bear arms, the right to free speech. And the other thing that it just made me think about this is how someone who's a police officer would think that taking away someone's suppressors is a good idea, is smart. So here's the truth about cops, okay? You're not supposed to like them. Okay? They have to hold up law for society, for the common good. That's the word I'm looking for. They seek common good, however they seek it. They could give two shits about your constitutional rights, your Second Amendment right, your First Amendment right. Well, they'll say I'm on your side, but you can't walk around with a weapon in front of a cop because I want to shoot you. They automatically assume that you have ill intent just because you have a sidearm or a long gun, but yet they carry the same thing. So by nature, the 5-0 by nature, okay, are oppressive. They have to be. I don't support it. I understand they can't turn that switch off and let their guard down. And I think cops honestly should be paid more and trained longer. And I think cops should be more mentally scrutinized. Being a cop is not being an infantry guy in the Army. Completely different roles. Being a cop requires a lot of social balance, a lot of physical stamina, and pervasive psychology. But yet they fail to recognize how to protect their civil liberties because they don't really care about them. So, do I support cops doing their job? Yeah. Do I think they should get a pay raise? Yeah, definitely. But they also should have higher standards. And I don't think that we should have a lot of federal cops. Keep the cops at the state and local levels as much as possible. Because governors are the ones that execute citizens more so than the Fed does. I mean, the Fed will execute during times of combat, times of war, but it's the governors that decide ultimately who lives or dies in that state. And that's a lot of power. And so that power should be closely linked to the authority. Here's another food for thought, okay? Should sheriffs be a political election? You're electing someone to uphold the law and the Constitution, but they're going to have a certain agenda under a guise of being political. That's just goes with the territory. I don't think you should have a Republican sheriff. I don't think you should have a Democrat sheriff. I think you should just have a sheriff. Sheriffs around here are elected. I don't understand the process. I think there is a requirement that you have some police experience to be a sheriff, much like to be a judge. I think you have to be a lawyer, right? I could be wrong. I know to run for Congress, you don't have to have been a lawyer. But I think to be a judge, you have to have been a lawyer. So there is a job requirement for that. 2, why do we need county? I don't understand, like Cook County or even this county here in Indiana. You have sheriffs for every police department, and that's fine. You have municipal areas where there's sheriffs and police officers in one task force. Like, I believe in Louisville, the police and the sheriff are one and the same. Then I don't know what the difference is. You have police that are sheriffs, sheriff police, but you don't have like Dyer, Indiana police sheriff force. I thought the role of the sheriff was like to run the jail and all that kind of stuff. You know, the sheriff stuff. I don't, for the life of me, it confuses me, these different law enforcement agencies and how they, what their balance is. And it's, to me, it's a waste of a lot of money. You could have more police officers or law enforcement doing their job as law enforcement and less administrative people. And if you have more people out protecting the rights of the citizens, which should be their main goal, then isn't that better for everybody? I don't know that we should have more police. We should have more police that are outward. And I get it. When you're a cop, you deal with the worst of society. You see the worst of society. And you see how kids are abused. It's sad. And sometimes you take it out on the innocent. Someone that speeding or something. It did nothing wrong, really. So now I'm on Route 30 here in Northwest Indiana. And this is where the traffic, I go into Illinois. I have to stay in the left lane because I'm turning left when I drive into Illinois. And this is where people just start cutting you off just to cut you off for the hell of it. And like there's traffic up ahead and nothing a damn thing I could do about it. I got a appointment now in 2 hours. The VA's, it's about 50 miles from my house now. And the way I drive, not so good. And there's some road work ahead. Well, it's a good thing I left early. Should have went the other way. Oh well, I should have went the way I normally go. Take the back roads until I get. I haven't been down this road in a long time. Last week, I guess. Long time. So hopefully tomorrow or Saturday when I do my live stream, I'm going to do a fake live stream and test it. Because I need to, they say the aperture for making the best YouTube videos is 16:9 ratio. And the closest I can find on my phone is 15:9. Using my it's a lot like using my thermal cameras. You click up, down, left, right, but a lot easier. And that is my morning dew coffee. Yeah, I am sore all over from that fast. So people read on the road here, lane ends, merge left. Now it started out 100 yards back there, and there's room for people to merge, but they want to merge right in at the end. And there's a guy going on the left lane, the middle of the road, trying to merge. Are we in Afghanistan? Oh my God. Sometimes it's cool to go to garden stores, where they have the plants already growing shit, just to see what kind of weird fruits or stuff you could get to grow, come up with creative ideas. But I've already planted 20 large tomatoes. I've already planted them in little cups, and so I started my garden. This weekend I'm gonna plant, hopefully those slips, carrots, onions, and sweet beets. Those are going to be all my cover crops to prevent weeds. It turns out there's a weed that grows on my beds that's actually very edible, but I just pluck them out. I don't want to grow them. I sure as hell don't ever spray anything, any pesticide or herbicide in my raised garden beds. I don't want any toxins like that. So I can eat them, right off. What we often do when we're playing outside, me and my sweetheart or my dogs, we want to get something to eat. We just go in the garden, grab a carrot, wipe the dirt off of it. That's all you really got to do. Just wipe the dirt off. It's a, just eat it. Or what I'll do is the stem of the carrot, I use that and scrub it. You could eat that stem too, but we don't. I compost it. But I use it and I'll wipe off the carrot. And me and my dogs, when we're outside chilling, we want a carrot to eat, I just go get one. We share it. The dogs love the garden carrots. They love them. One thing that I turned off are oh boy. So last night, I stayed up and I watched all the final 3 episodes of Andor. Okay. Uh, I know that Star Wars has turned libtard, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But whatever. But Andor, pretty good series. I cried it a little bit at the end, too. The ending scene, I cried a little bit. Because you know what happens in the movie that came out in 2016. But it was that made that movie, Andor, or no, Rogue One. It was called Rogue One. It made the movie, it was the ultimate prequel to the movie. And Rogue One was a prequel to Star Wars: A New Hope. And I'm not ashamed to say it right here, but it's such a well acted show. I mean, I have no. I will say though that Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is another. I'm a big Trekkie, okay, and I know I get the political bullshit. They don't like conservatives in Star Trek, although really, Admiral Captain Pike / Admiral Pike is the epitome of what a conservative is. As far as his values, so maybe they have more in common with people than they think. I can't wait for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds to come out again for the next season. It's the captain that was in charge of the Enterprise before Captain Kirk took it over. And of course, it has Spock on there. Okay, Spock. It's got number one, Uno. That's a character, okay? The XO of the Enterprise. It's got introduced Scotty last season and some other characters that they don't make it when Captain Kirk's, or they get transferred, I should say, when Captain Kirk takes over the Enterprise. Obviously, he keeps Scotty on board and he keeps Spock and whoever else they have on board. But the way they introduced the characters, so this is the first time in the series that you see these characters. So they're doing, they're filling some big ass shoes. In my book, for these characters that go back to the late 1960s, and those are big boots to follow. Because the only time we saw Captain Pike or Admiral Pike was on Star Trek when he was the old show, when he was in that electric chair thing, with just his morphed body and no arms. And all you could do is click 2 for yes and 1 for no, kind of thing. And I don't want to give the show away, but it makes sense. So, back to prepping and Karens. And I tell you, I saw the weirdest thing yesterday. Okay, I saw a Bronco, okay, that was being sold by a Jeep maker, Jeep company. And I was like, this is not a, it was in back of me. No, I was in back of it, driving home from work. And I'm like, it's a Ford Bronco, but it was sold by a Jeep dealer because it had the Jeep dealer's name. And I'm like, that's not a Jeep. So I think they had to take the Bronco out after O.J. Simpson back in was it 94? After what happened in 94? Yeah. When he killed his wife. And he was driving around Hollywood with his Bronco. I think that killed the Bronco brand for the vehicle because it was a nice vehicle, a nice SUV before they became SUVs. And what they brought back to me, the Bronco that they have now is just, it looks like a Jeep. I got a Bronco behind me. And they're actually smaller than the Jeeps. I don't know. I've never driven a Bronco. Don't have it. I like my Jeep. So I'm on Route 30 and I'm in Illinois now. Okay. You can feel the oppression of your Second Amendment rights here. I wouldn't say so much First Amendment, it's Second Amendment. You can feel the oppression in the air because they're very vocal people here. And I may not agree with what they have to say, but I don't care what you have to say. If you say what you say, that's what free speech is all about for the people. The legislature and the executive and the judicial branch here are all screwed. People have right to say what they want. I'm driving by this place. It looks like a fortress. It's called Atlantis. Okay, it's Atlantis. Google it on the computer thing. Atlantis in Chicago area. Atlantis. You'll see what I'm saying. I don't even know if that place is open anymore. The few times I drive down here, I never see any cars because I don't really take this way to get home from things. And I'm going down the bumps. I'm on 394, which is a road south of Chicago. And now you start going fast to just speed, go with the rate of traffic. I'm wearing my combat medical badge hat, although I have 2 combat medical badges. You can get a hat that says combat medical badge, second award, with a star on top. That's okay. And then we see the signs, the drive-by signs. We're going past Joe Orr Road. Okay, Joe Orr Road. There's a certain club on Joe Orr Road. Club on Joe Orr Road. Look it up. Google it. Okay, Google it. What is the club on Joe Orr Road? Yeah, you'll see. Well, I'm going 64, and I'm in the slow lane of traffic. and I'm going to go down to 8094 to get into Chicago. Sometimes if it's not hazy, you can see the skyline from back here, but not yet. There's too many trees. Excuse me. There's this place called Swaporama. I've never been to it. 294 exit 12, where people swap stuff. That's how I would envision preppers doing prepper stuff. So, speaking of prepper stuff, this weekend I'm going to focus on doing the garden. If it's sunny outside, I think I'm going to use my new camera and try to do a video of starting a fire using a Fresnel lens, which is basically a big magnifying glass that focuses a light beam. It's called a Fresnel lens. If I wanted to do it properly, and I think I can get one of my tripods out, aim the tripod with the Fresnel lens to a certain area, and it's recorded every half hour or whatever. I would edit the footage, obviously, because you don't want to watch a Fresnel lens going for 2 hours just to pick up something. We'll start a little fire. I mean, the preppers talk about having a way to start a fire. Well, yeah, okay, start a fire like that. You know? So one thing I don't have is that toll lens, toll road pass. I don't have that. Well, I'm going 94 into Chicago now. 8094 or 8294, 8094 east goes back into Indiana and goes east and west. The roads are a lot clearer at this time. It's 8:51 in the morning Central Time. It's already 75 degrees outside. I have taken off the jacket. I'm no longer wearing my winter coat. That was a quick transition. 2 weeks ago, it was chill. I didn't want to do anything outside because it was just too cold. I will say that I didn't waste any time planting stuff. I could have done a raised garden bed inside a greenhouse and done it earlier, but I didn't. I was trying to learn how to do YouTube videos. Because let's just be honest, I make some shitty videos right now. I'm working on it. I mean, you can't make a video with a guy's head cut off talking about shit. I did a freeze dry video, but I was using my phone camera doing it. It just doesn't work out. And hopefully, when I start using the camera video, it'll have a wider view. And I have a microphone that you attach to your body. That way you don't have to like scream when you're talking. I'm just curious. So this is a question for anyone that was in Afghanistan or Iraq. You ever, like, you're driving at an intersection and you get the urge to just suddenly drive right into the intersection and cut off all the traffic coming from your driver's side to block the traffic so your convoy can go through without having to stop. Of course, they don't have a convoy. Of course, we've done that many times on PSD missions. So sometimes I just think about it, and I slow down at the intersection where the cars are coming, and I make those cars slow down on purpose as a, I'm just being an asshole. I'm sorry. No other reason than doing that. And I just think about it. Something body, something, it's a move, it's a jihadi move. Don't do it. I mean, I just think about things like that. You ever think anything weird that you can't do here in the United States that you did over in Iraq or Afghanistan that you get away with? What's something that, for all my fellow combat veterans, something you did over there that you got away with, okay, that you just can't do it in this country now? Well, maybe put something in the comments if you're streaming, watching my stream, or if you've never deployed, something you think that we did that we didn't do or whatever. I don't know. I'll tell you a quick story, a medical story, okay? A few times I was embedded with the Afghan National Army, the conventional forces. I don't know, I've never worked with their SF people. Anyway, there. Anytime I was there, they'd come up to me wanting some medicine, making up myriads of symptoms, like, oh, okay, and then go like that. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Like anything from me was better than what they got from their own doctors. Although right across the border, basically, I don't. Anyway, right there in India is where they make all the medicine in the world. Anyway, you actually have pretty good medicine in Afghanistan. And the Indians are good people. India, good people. So are the Afghanis. And what Biden did to them when he left, like how he did, it still disgusts me to my stomach to this day. And any leadership that involved in that disgusts me. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. So we're passing this big ass landfill. Okay, it's like up, I don't know, 50 meters up in the air. But it would be awesome to get a sled in the winter. It wouldn't be so awesome to walk up it, be good exercise, but it would be awesome to slide down it with a sled. When I was a little kid, I lived in a place called Schwäbisch Gmünd. Okay, it was in Bavaria. You look it up, okay? Look it up, my friends. It's called Schwäbisch Gmünd. I don't think that I have any friends on YouTube anymore that were from Schwäbisch Gmünd because I don't really remember anybody. I don't even remember who my best friend's name was. That's horrible. I hope he's doing good. I can't remember his name. We didn't have yearbooks back then. Anyway, I was there third grade and fourth grade. And I was a little coward. I was a little chicken shit. They had this. The housing for the dependents was on the hill, where there was two bases, one on the bottom of the mountain and one on the top of the mountain, or the hill. It was a hill. It was a big hill because we used to take the stairs. The Germans make beautiful stairs. But anyway, the bigger kids would take their sleds, go down this hill. It's a big hill. I don't know what's between a hill and a mountain, okay, what you call it, and slide down it on the slot, in the winter. And they looked like they had so much fun. And then they would just go up the steps and slide down again. And I was afraid to do it. I don't remember if I did it or not. But, I mean, it was a good 200 feet where the place where we could slide down. But the thing is, if you didn't stop at the right time, you would go down the other part, the wooded part, and get hurt. Because it was the 200 feet drop. And then I think it was longer than 200 feet. And then it had a little walkway. I think we had spotters on the bottom that would stop you. I mean, this is kids playing together. Common sense. We don't want to see anyone get hurt. But I was afraid to do it. I was afraid I would go into the woods and die. That's okay, ladies and gentlemen. I won't tell you what I did by myself. Sometimes saw other kids do it in regards to the Danelle River in Noyon. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. Google Ulm and Noyon in the Munster Tower. Okay? I used to go exploring in Germany by myself. Now, when we lived in the government housing for dependents, we were off base. We weren't on the part of the base where you had to show your ID. Anybody could go there. So it was easy just to walk off and go explore the local community. And even as a kid, it's like, this is so beautiful. I want to explore. So I used to go up the Munster Tower and just look out at the beauty of it, of Germany, of Ulm and Noyon. You can see the Munster, the tower, and you can see the river. And they actually had a hotel for like people that were PCSing overseas, back to the States, or coming there, that would stay at the hotel while their house was getting ready, or the apartment, for the government housing in Germany. When we moved back to the United States, we had to stay there for about a week because of the timing of the airplane and all that. But anyway, I had some adventures in Germany by myself. If I had told my parents what I did, I don't know. I think looking back, my dad would have approved, but I was afraid to tell him, afraid to get in trouble. And when I was a kid one time in Germany, I wanted to make my own soil. Okay, and I didn't know how to make soil. I just wanted to build my own soil so I could grow a plant. So I got a bunch of shit from outside, rocks, some dirt, some water, and I just let it sit in my under my bed for a couple of weeks. And then my mom found it, and she said, "What the hell is this?" But she didn't say it like that. And I, started crying, of course, because that's what you do. And I just explained to them that I wanted to make dirt. I wanted to make my own dirt because I didn't know how dirt was made. And my dad tried to explain to me you don't make dirt, it's just there, which is not true. You can make your own soil with composting and stuff. It's just, you can make it, it takes years to make. And what becomes dirt is from, the dirt, your dirt is not dead. The dirt is alive. Okay. We often think of dirt as being inert, but I see dirt as its own. It's more like your gut and the brain gut axis. That's how I see soil. Okay. It's a life part of the earth. The dirt is. And obviously the dirt covers a lot of a lot of mass, 25% of the earth. That surface area is alive. Cement, on the other hand, is dead. Isn't that a beautiful thought, ladies and gentlemen? So yeah, dirt and soil is alive. If it can grow, if life can grow from it, life begets life. Just said hi to a guy, I don't know who the hell he is. I do crazy shit, crazy. And we are stuck in Chicago traffic. So this is, I don't know where the hell I am, but it's trying to go into the city. My appointment is in 1 hour and 30 minutes. And this is the part where you get people that just cut in and out of lanes just to get 5 seconds of speed time, just to slow down and get nothing. I thought I wouldn't be as bad. And I got some idiot here that's doing something. I don't know. Like and subscribe if you drive into Chicago a lot and get freaked out by the traffic, because I do. I can't stand the traffic. I mean, I have to deal with it. I know my way around now. I don't need to Google. Well, I don't Google things anyway to drive. People used to have a separate smart, drive thing, but now it's on your phone, and you can hey, phone, take me here, and it'll give you directions to get there. So usually I do my stream at 7, but I did not wake up or did not leave till 8 o'clock this morning, my time. So I'm doing the stream a little bit later. You know what I'd like to see though right now? I'd like to see 100 people watching my video right now. I'd really like to see if I could get 100 people just to watch for 10 minutes. That would be pretty awesome. And maybe type something in the comments about what's the one city you can't stand driving into. Now, I know that Chicago's not as big as Los Angeles or New York, but I couldn't imagine driving in those cities either. From what I understand about the indigenous people of New York, is that most of those people don't even own cars. They just live in the city without a car, and they take public transportation, or they walk everywhere, or they ride bikes. I think in Los Angeles, you have to have a car to get anywhere. It's a completely different culture. Things are more spread out from what I've assessed. In Chicago, you need a car. I stay in the right lane because I'm just a slow ass driver. So let me digress, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go back to the Karens and prepping. There's some Karens that are getting into prepping. And I'm not telling someone how to live their life or do whatever they're going to do. Or Kevins that get into prepping. But I can't see how you can be a Marxist prepper. To me, being a prepper means supporting Constitution, Bill of Rights, the amendments to the Constitution, that states should have more power than the feds, as it was meant to be. Congress makes the laws. The courts make justice based on the law. They don't create laws. And the executive branch executes the will of the people. Isn't that how it's supposed to be? I think that over the years, the executive branch has yielded more power from Congress. I still don't believe in agencies making their own laws, and if the executive branch can take money from you for violating one of their rules, that's see, this guy's just cut me off. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything, and he'll turn again in a second. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you hate it when someone just cuts right into you and doesn't even give you a customary thank you from their mirror or from their car as they cut you off. And then you have people that there's one road that merges to the left, so not as many people are following it. But yeah, you still have these cars that will come to the edge of where the lane starts to change, cut into the part where you're not supposed to go, and cut you off, like this mother duking right here. I had a Ford, just as I was saying it, guy does it. And that's how wrecks are caused, ladies and gentlemen, around here. People speeding up to everybody else slowing down. Now I have about 3 car lengths behind me and the car in front of me, or behind the car in back of me, or whatever. I have 3 car lengths. I have to slam on the brakes. So this is an intersection here, or part of the road where there's a Chicago Transit Authority train, where it like changes out. And there's always a blockage of traffic here. I don't know what the road is called. We'll pass a sign here in a minute. So I'm on the intersection of a road and something State Street. So 94 and State Street is where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. And you go underneath this big highway called State Street. which is not a highway, but and this is where like a choo-choo train or the CTA train, like a headquarters for it is. Because you got a bunch of trains that are just sitting there. CTA passenger trains. Chicago Transit Authority. So we're coming up upon 87th Street, ladies and gentlemen. Exit 61. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And now this is where we get a big influx of traffic. And where I need to get into the other lane. And I just need to start driving more aggressively like these sons of a bitches. And just cut people off. Say thank you. That's what you just gotta do here. You just gotta cut people off. I have to do it. Or otherwise I'd be like, Clark W. Griswold and European Vacation going around that roundabout in England for hours because he can't get over. And what I find odd about that movie, okay, is that he's from Chicago. He knows how to cut people off in traffic. This is what they do. It's natural for them. So that movie made no sense. He knows how to cut people off in traffic. Everyone does. Okay? If you don't know who Clark W. Griswold is, then you are surely missing out on good American culture, ladies and gentlemen. That's a reference for Chicago. So now we're going up upon the exit for Chicago State University. There's another Jeep. I don't know where Chicago proper begins and like where the suburbs, far south suburbs ends. I don't know the demarcation line of said location. Because to me, all of Northwest Indiana and all of Cook County and the collar counties associated with it are all, to me, Chicago. It's all the same mentality. Michigan City is the border to the in Indiana. That's where Chicago ends, in my opinion. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. And like, I think it ends on the west side in Aurora and Naperville. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. And I think Chicago incorporates all of Will County. Like when I drive to work, I'm in Will County for a little bit. Then I go up into Cook County because Chicago Heights is in the far south suburbs. And some people think it's like a foreign country there. People that live around here. Oh, you live in Chicago? Or you work in Chicago Heights? Yeah. How is it there? They've never been out there. Town's got its problems. To me, the saddest day ever in Chicago Heights for me, and I've been working there for a long time, so I do have some heart with the place, okay? Because I'm not heartless. So when they tore down the Franciscan Hospital in Chicago Heights, they tore it down. I recorded some of it on my phone. Excuse me, I get nervous driving in traffic. I start coughing. So at this point, it's pretty foggy out today, but you can see the the tall building in Chicago now. Used to call it Sears Tower. I don't know what it's called now. Wouldn't you like to go? Excuse me. Isn't it like 1,000 feet high? I don't know. But I'd like to go parachuting off the tower. I'd like to jump off of it. I'd probably go with a static line though, because 1,000 feet's pretty not that high to pull your own cord. But yeah, I would love to. I wish they had a thing where you could jump off the Sears Tower with a parachute, or at the very least, one of those bungee cord things, or one of those things where they attach a long, strong piece of metal wire, and you slide down it. Well, they would pitch you to sling you up in it. You would just hold it with your hands all the way down to, like, I don't know, the seashore or the lake shore area. That would be pretty cool. You'd have to worry about helicopters running into it, airplanes and stuff. Leave a comment below if you ever jumped out of an airplane or a helicopter or an air balloon. I never jumped out of an air balloon. I jumped out of helicopters, parachuted out of helicopters. And of course, I parachuted out of many airplanes. But I never got to do a hot air balloon. Excuse me. Thing is, with a hot air balloon, you have to know where the wind takes you to get where you're going. And it's not a fast infill. I don't know how air balloons look under radar, but you can see an air balloon in the sky, and if you're parachuting in on a target, you've got to be able to. I guess they would have to find a way to steer the air balloon small enough, and you could just parachute down. But the thing is, the air balloon's so slow, it'd be easy to shoot down. So I don't think it would be a good way to infill on a mission, if that's what you're thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. Your air support would just be nullified. Try to open up this. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. You ever try to do all the town, or you ever seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Let me premise by saying that, ladies and gentlemen. It's a movie that came out in '86, okay? And this guy, high school senior, who takes his best friend and his girlfriend, and they skip school. It's near the end of the year. Pretends he's sick and stuff. And they take his best friend's dad's fancy car, and they drive around Chicago, go to all these beautiful places. They go eat at this beautiful restaurant. They go look at beautiful pieces of art, paintings and stuff. And it's about the friendship between a best friend and Ferris and Ferris's girlfriend. They wreck the car, but Ferris's best friend grows from it because he was living in fear of his father. And he says, "Well, I can't hide from this," and he grew stronger from that. I try to look at a movie, and I try to look for the good in it. It wasn't just about a guy driving around with an ego. It was about growth and development. It was a good movie. And then that same movie, the director or I think it was the director or the producer of that movie, all these other movies that took place in that same high school, like The Breakfast Club. And supposedly, Breakfast Club takes place in the same high school that Ferris Bueller went to and where they skipped school and they got his. That's the same high school, supposedly. I think maybe 16 Candles had something to do with it. Although the girl in 16 Candles, Molly Ringwald, was in that other movie. So I don't know that it's the same character. But they take place in the same universe. The Breakfast Club. More morbid people, okay, say that the whole movie of Ferris Bueller was about what Ferris's Bueller best friend happened to him. He like almost drowned in some water, and this is what the thoughts were going on in his mind before he died. And that's basically the whole thing that the movie was about. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, comment below if you ever watched a movie and you're like, I think that this movie is all just in the thoughts of one character and it's all just fake. It's none of it's real as far as it being real at all. Anyway. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm stuck in some serious mother Dugan traffic. And I'm going to turn, and this guy's going to let me in, or I'm going to cut him off. Yeah, thank you, mother. Thank you. So nice of you. 죄송합니다. You just got to cut people off. And I don't do it in Illinois or Indiana. You know one thing I can't stand, ladies and gentlemen, is when people get their stethoscope. You know, the thing that I used to listen to someone's heart and lungs and carotids. And honestly, that's the only three things I listen for with my stethoscope. I listen to the heart, the lungs, and I like to listen for bruits in the carotid arteries. That's all my stethoscope is good for. Or taking on the blood pressure manually. Okay, 4 things. And 2, sometimes if you just want to talk to yourself and hear yourself talk, that's fun to do. It's also fun to, like, if you want to teach your young ones about how heart sounds work and how lung sound work, and you just put the stethoscope on your puppy or on you, or have your young one listen to their own heart. That to me is exploring your body, okay? Learning about, and then that garners interest. Why does it make that noise when it beats? And you realize, ladies and gentlemen, that it's a pump. The heart is nothing but 4 valves, 4 different pumps that pump in a certain sequence. And it pumps blood that doesn't have any oxygen in it, or it has a low amount of oxygen and some byproducts of metabolism that get expelled through the lungs through a diffusion process, and then it absorbs oxygen through this pressure osmosis. The water or the air that has the oxygen gets into the lungs, right aorta, right ventricle, into the body. Or left aorta, left ventricle, I'm sorry. Into the body. And that's your arterial system. Isn't that pretty beautiful, ladies and gentlemen? So the heart, it has sensors on it, okay, to monitor the pressure, much like a monitor would monitor pressure on a pump. And the heart also has its own electrical current, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. It's a pump that generates its own electricity, that communicates with other parts of the body, generating that electricity. It takes in deoxygenated blood, pumps it to an organ that gives it more oxygen, and takes that oxygen, blood, and it pumps it to the body. And different body processes, so the different organs distribute the nutrients for each cell. And that's one hell of a pump system, ladies and gentlemen. You can't, like a sewer system in your house, a plumbing system. And here's the awesome thing about the electrical system and the plumbing system. The actual pump itself, okay, think about it, has its own internal plumbing system, coronary arteries, that supply oxygen to itself. And sometimes people confuse what heart failure is versus what coronary artery disease is. Okay? Heart failure is, well, there's 2 types. One, when the left ventricle basically quits pumping effectively, which is, and then 2, when the heart itself doesn't pump effectively, the left ventricle just quits working effectively as a whole. And the way we treat it, basically, is pretty similar. And I need to get in the other lane now. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. I start talking about the heart too much. Come on, Ferris, let me in. Come on, please let me in, motherfucker. Thank you. I just did what exactly I told other people I don't like them to do. I just got out in the white lane. You have to. You have to turn it off here if you want to survive. I become a Chicago driver driving in Chicago, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I do exactly what these people here, the natives, do. Like this guy just cut me off for the hell of it. And he's going to go back into the. I'm staying in the left lane because I'm turning in the left lane. There's someone here named Ida B. Wells. Now, I obviously the people of Chicago hold Ida in high reverence, so they named a road after her. I assume Ida is a lady name. Google, ladies and gentlemen, or YouTube who Ida Wells from Chicago is. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to what's called the medical district of Chicago. Okay. So much traffic. We're going under Ashland Avenue. And I just stay in the right lane, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, because I'm a little sissy boy. Sometimes you just have to drive like they do around here. The problem that I'm going to encounter when I get to the VA at this time of day is parking in the parking lot. I'll run into somebody that I got. My appointment is in 1 hour. I'm about 5 mics out from arriving at the destination. That's not counting time it takes to find a place to park. The VA has its own parking lot for patients and stuff. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. We just turned off exit 28 Bravo. And when it's a one lane, sweetheart. Are they doing some construction up here where it's one lane? Good. Oh, look. I'm not letting you cut me in, sweetheart. So to the left of me, or where you can't see, is Rush Hospital. It's a lot where a lot of my patients go to Rush, get back surgery done. So I got nothing bad to say about Rush. Lumbar surgery, they're pretty good there. It almost takes an act of Congress to get someone back surgery done at the VA. I mean, it's got to be very debilitating to get it done, and it should be. I hate to say that, but because there's, to me, a 50-50% chance if after you have the back surgery, it's going to be worse than had you had it before or not had it. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my opinion. Okay, sweetheart, I'm going to let you in. Okay? Okay. Now, she could have easily just gone behind me, but she chose to go next to me in a road that's really one lane. Russia's a big hospital, folks. I don't know what she's doing. Maybe she's turning and she thinks she's turning. Yeah, I think she's turning. It wasn't meant to be a 2-lane road. This cutoff. And her nice little Toyota is half of it is on the meridian in the grass now. Not my problem, ladies and gentlemen. Not my problem. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm taking the wrong exit. Oh my God. I'm supposed to take Damon, and Damon is the next exit over. And I went off on Ashland. No wonder this looked weird to me. Now I'm going to get lost in the city. That's funny. I took the wrong exit. So I'm just going to go straight and get off the next exit. I'll let you in, sweetheart. Go ahead, sweet tits. Go ahead. Go ahead, sweet tits. There you go. There you go, sweet tits. There you go. You cut me off. Oh, boy. And I guess the United Center is the same exit as the VA on Damon Avenue. I've never been to United Center. No desire to ever go there, ladies and gentlemen. So some people say that the United Center is not in Chicago, but I don't get it. Like, it's my fault that you can't cut me off. They'll give you like the finger around here. If you don't let them cut you off, it's your fault. They have rights. So this is why I leave early, extra early, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't do good in traffic. Tall. Don't do good tall. And I always make sure my truck is topped off and that my vehicle's in good operating order. Because I don't do so good. And I can't imagine having to drive to work to Chicago every day like this. I would get an ulcer. And now I have to go down the road. I've actually done the same thing before a couple times. I get the wrong exit. One time I got the wrong exit and I was driving around the medical district for about an hour trying to find something that said VA on it. And the thing is, I was just driving east and west instead of going north and south. But I had time to kill, so it didn't matter. And it was cool to watch people walk around. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are in the heart of Chicago. And I'm just trying to get to a certain building. Hopefully by now some people's appointments will have been over. I've been driving for 1.5 hours. And my appointment's in 45 minutes. And I'm really just 5 minutes away from getting to where I need to go. Had I taken the right exit. And we're going to get stopped. Yeah, I went off Ashland. I'm not staying off Ashland. It turned into a 1 lane apparently because they're doing some maintenance. For those that are still with me, or am I the only one on here by myself? I don't know. Do you have a city that you don't like that you have to drive in? So there's a sign that says the rush. Who gets the chance to be healthy? That makes no sense to me. I don't know. They're so they don't put something up unless it has some ethnocentric um, derivative. Trying to get where that question's coming from. And again, I'm in the wrong lane to go straight, even though it's a straight lane. And I will turn here, ladies and gentlemen, and get back on the road, I think. And there's no traffic down here. So I think if I stay on this road, I will intersect with Damon instead of getting back on 290. Would it make sense? Yeah, because there's Ogden, and Damon would just be the one over. The VA's on the road of intersections of Ogden and Damon, but with the way I am, I have to go on to Damon because there's an intersection there that you have to cut people off and shit, and I'm horrible with it. And I'm going to cut people off too. My eyes really open up. So now I'm on the corner of Damon and Van Buren Street. If you ever Googled that, ladies and gentlemen, I have not. But I didn't go back on the 290 just to get back on Van Buren. Okay. And I'm going to be turning left, which would be making me go south now. And of course, the guy to the left of me is going to start cutting me off and take my lane and overtake it, because that's what you do here to each other. And begin. And cut me off. And there we go. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on Damon, the road I'm supposed to be on. So next to the VA is the Cook County Hospital. They renamed the hospital after people that, I guess, give them money. Like Wishard Hospital in Indianapolis. It's been known for Wishard for decades, okay, ladies and gentlemen? But I digress. It's called Eskenazi Health, named after some fellow that gave the hospital, because they built a completely new Wishard Hospital, and they called it Eskenazi Health. And it's across from the VA. Hey, that's one of my patients. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. I just went through this red light. I don't go through red lights. I just went through the red light. just like everybody else. I just drove by one of my patients, ladies and gentlemen. I work in Chicago Heights, but my patients come up here too, to the VA. I work for them. And sometimes when I have time to kill, like hours, I like to walk around the medical district here. It's fun, and I get to see different people do different things. And I like to take pictures. I like to take pictures, ladies and gentlemen. Have a guy on a bicycle, or a lady, I guess, who decided she's not going to follow the rules. They have bike paths. The thing is, like the trucks that drop off patients and stuff, they just park right on the bike paths. So I got to be careful because there's gonna be someone cray just cutting you off. And I'm probably gonna run into a couple patients today. So I make fun of a lot of people that work here because sometimes when I try to call someone, I swear to God, they just walk around with clipboards and they walk around and talk. And they're never at their desk to answer, pick up the phone when you got to call them for something. And when you do, it's your fault for calling them, for answering a question about doing something about their job. It's your fault for calling them. Someone just left a VA wheelchair out there. It'll probably get stolen. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it'll probably get stolen. And I'm going to park. And this lady's not even looking at her car. Or walking around with her cell phone. I stopped, of course, ladies and gentlemen, because, And here we are.
Please press the button and take the parking ticket.
Okay.
Please take the parking ticket.
All right, thank you.
Please enter following the guidance.
Okay. So you make sure you don't have any weapons here, which I don't.